Very clear, this is the email that DJ Vlad sent me, his producer sent me, asking me to appear on his podcast on YouTube just after the Cassie video was released on my birthday.
They went up to the feds one day and they took some paperwork up.
Where's Jay at? He's mad quiet, like while the Puffy thing was going on. But it's obvious now that his team was being made aware that he was in those allegations also. So I hope it works out, because with his family, the things that go on internally is that
they done took down Puff. They done took down all these other powerful black people. Jay-Z's like the lone standing powerful black man.
The track wrestling on them, Jay is them.
They already erased Puff. They already stripped down other powerful black figures one by one. Now look around. Jay-Z is the last man standing in that circle. And Jay isn't just around them. Jay is them. I'll say this clearly. This is the exact message I received from DJ Vlad's team. His producer reached out asking me to come on the podcast, and the timing wasn't random. It came right after the Cassie footage dropped, on my birthday. So people started asking the obvious question: where was Jay while the Puffy situation was exploding? Why was he suddenly silent? No statements, no defense, no distance either. Now it makes more sense. Word is his camp was already being briefed that his name was circling those same allegations. Quiet isn't innocence. Quiet is preparation. And honestly, I hope it all works out for him, because when it comes to family, the stuff that happens behind closed doors, those accusations are wild. And before anyone twists this, that comment about 50 Cent, let's be honest, nobody is scared of 50. Let's clear that up right now. People said it was taken out of context. I don't buy that. Not at all. What really happened is the conversation boxed him in, made him feel small, so he snapped back with bravado. Nobody's scared of 50. That wasn't confidence. That was defense. And that's the real issue. Not 50, not the internet. It's the moment someone makes you question your position. The problem is, people rarely self-evaluate, even the smartest ones. Jay is intelligent, extremely. He dissects everyone else's moves. But sometimes he doesn't stop to examine his own shift, his transition, the subtle change in how the power around him is moving. Your music saved my life, man. Sagittarius energy. Respect. For years, fans believed Jay-Z and Diddy were untouchable. Two titans locked arms at the top of hip-hop. Partners, brothers, a united front of power. But according to what 50 Cent has been hinting at, that alliance cracked the moment survival outweighed loyalty. This story was never really about music. It's about control. And once that control started slipping, nobody rushed to save Diddy. They rushed to secure themselves. That's where Jay's name enters the frame. As Diddy's legal problems stacked higher and higher, something eerie happened. The industry went silent. No big defenses, no loud allies, just a vacuum. And behind that silence, insiders say paperwork was moving, conversations were happening, deals were being discussed. Allegedly, Jay-Z had been quietly gathering information on Diddy for years, and allegedly, that information flowed through his longtime associate Desiree Perez, a woman with deep federal ties. They already took Puff down. They already dismantled others. Jay is the last one standing because Jay knows how the system works. Jay is the system. Look at the history. When artists hit real trouble, not headlines but federal heat, who did they call? Lil Wayne, Meek Mill, both said the same name. Desiree helped me. So how could Jay be next? He's the person they run to when things go bad. And if his name never surfaces officially, what will people say? Told you he had nothing to do with it. The story gets buried, covered, rewritten. Because the truth is, nobody's coming for him. Not really. You're talking about someone connected to a woman who's had a relationship with federal agencies for over 2 decades. That's not luck, that's leverage. 50 Cent has been shouting for months that real evidence existed. Not rumors, not gossip, actual recordings. And suddenly, 50 had enough material to build a full Netflix-level documentary when nobody else did. So the question changed, where did it come from? Insiders believe Jay understood exactly how dangerous those recordings were, and instead of falling with Diddy, he chose another route: distance, damage control, and possibly cooperation. You don't move alone at that level. You have handlers, agents, people whose job is to manage risk. You think someone in that position doesn't have decades of relationships with retired agents, connected officials, and quiet power brokers? That's power, real power. And when you have them on your side, nothing really touches you. If anything ever does surface, it won't be personal. It'll be financial, numbers, settlements, nothing that destroys legacy. So no, I don't see them coming after him. But one thing is certain, everything Jaguar has been warning about, it keeps coming true. What really made people pause wasn't the headlines, it was the legal chessboard. As victims started stepping forward, one detail kept repeating behind the scenes. Jaguar's personal attorney, Alex Spiro, began appearing everywhere Diddy's case touched. Courtrooms, meetings, conversations he supposedly didn't belong in. And then Jaguar dropped a line that froze people in place. Sean Carter is just as dangerous as Diddy. I know it. I carry the proof on my body. She didn't speak in metaphors. She spoke in scars. You want to know what it feels like when a box cutter slices into your skin and drags? I can tell you exactly how it feels. She warned everyone. What the public had seen so far was nothing. That Cassie footage? That's the warm-up. Then came the part that shook people the most. She claimed Jay remembers everything he did to her. And not only that, she says it's recorded, just like Teddy. And then she said something that landed like a curse. In the end, it's going to be the women who bring them down. According to Jaguar, Jay-Z has always mastered one skill better than anyone else, exiting before the collapse. He doesn't wait for buildings to burn. He steps out early, locks the door behind him, and lets the fire consume everyone else. That's why the timing raised alarms. As Diddy's situation spiraled, 50 Cent suddenly had something he'd never had before. Access, confidence, protection. Enough backing to confront people no one ever challenged. That doesn't happen by accident. Insiders believe someone at the top quietly unlocked the door, and if Jay knew the tapes existed, if he knew they were coming, then handing them over discreetly may have been the cleanest escape route possible. Save yourself, sever the ties, let Diddy fall. 50 never said Jay's name outright, but he never denied it either. What he did make clear was this: the betrayal didn't come from enemies. It came from the inner circle, from people smiling for cameras while packing their exit bags. Now Hollywood is uneasy, because if Jay really turned on Diddy to preserve his own future, this wasn't fallout, it was strategy. And once those tapes fully surface, people may finally understand why the silence was so deafening. When asked why she focused so heavily on Jay instead of only Diddy, Jaguar's answer was simple. They're connected. You can't separate them. She didn't sugarcoat it. These are criminals. Diddy is one, and so is Jay-Z. She asked a question no one wanted to answer. How many damaged people does he have to stand next to before y'all see him clearly? To her, these men have spent years trying to outrun their pasts. Diddy reinvented himself again and again, changed names, changed images. I'm not that man anymore. I'm love now. And Jaguar says Jay did the same, running from love, redefining it, hiding behind it. What kind of love, she asked. Baby oil love? Baby love? Explicit love? Suddenly, old lyrics hit differently. Old interviews sound darker. Old jokes don't land the same. Nobody ever thought hip-hop would reach this point, but now it has. Jaguar insists talking about one without the other makes no sense. They move together, they rose together, and if the structure collapses, they collapse together. She calls them two monsters tied to the same history. One of her most explosive claims involved Aaliyah. She alleged that Sean Carter played a role in pushing Hype Williams to place Aaliyah on a compromised flight, as punishment for rejection and to clear the path for Beyoncé's rise. Allegedly. Then she asked people to picture something chilling. 106 in Park, Mary J. Blige, free. One woman allegedly harmed by Diddy, another allegedly harmed by Jay-Z, sitting together on television, discussing Aaliyah's death. A Diddy victim, a Jay-Z victim, and a superstar who never made it home. They knew, but they had to speak like they didn't. Think about the power required to force that silence. And now names are resurfacing again. Claudia Jordan recently mentioned Jaguar's mother for the first time, while discussing why people are afraid to come forward. Jaguar's response was blunt. You mean afraid like you were? You were Diddy's girl. Corey was Jay-Z's girl. And suddenly, the past isn't past anymore. It's knocking. Why won't you claim your friend? That was the question aimed straight at Claudia. And when Jaguar says Corey, she's talking about Kathy White. Yes, the woman many believed was Jay-Z's pregnant mistress. The woman whose death was labeled an aneurysm no one saw coming, an aneurysm no one questioned. Just like the other woman, best friends with Kim and Kimora, the author who wrote Bling, and then died the moment the book hit the bestseller list. Coincidence keeps showing up with the same names. People also started noticing something else. Jay-Z and Beyoncé were bleeding followers daily, quietly, publicly, and still not a single word. No denial, no explanation, no outrage. Just silence wrapped in business-as-usual smiles. Jaguar didn't interpret that as strength. She read it as panic. Why now, she asked. Why does it all explode at this moment? Her answer was cold. Because he's the acceptable monster right now. Just like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch. Then she asked the question that made the room uncomfortable. So who's next? She says the lineup is already visible. You just have to stop pretending you don't see it. In her eyes, Jay-Z isn't changing. He's repeating. She says he lined up DeHaven, took his identity. Lined up Big L, took his legacy. Lined up Dame Dash, took his empire and the woman he loved. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one, she said, the last man standing. And then something strange happened. DeHaven reached out. He wanted to tell his story. People who had been silent suddenly wanted to talk. But Jaguar didn't stop with Jay. She turned her attention to Beyonce. Why doesn't your husband want to put his seed in you? She asked. He put it everywhere else. She called it a strange world, a stranger internet. Beyonce's internet, she said. That doesn't belong to her. That belongs to the devil. Then came allegations so bizarre people laughed, until they didn't. A former musician accused Beyonce of extreme witchcraft, claimed hypnosis, claimed attacks while asleep. The court didn't grant a restraining order. They simply told her to stay away, and quietly made sure she stopped working. She was trained at Berkeley, handpicked by Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, part of the all-female band Beyonce's father created when he couldn't control her. Jaguar's point wasn't spectacle, it was power. She explained she never planned to go on Piers Morgan. The opportunity came through her team. She accepted because Piers checks facts. If it gets past his producers and lawyers, she said, then the truth has nowhere left to hide. She was right. The interview didn't just go viral, it caused damage. Media figures rushed to discredit her, including DJ Vlad. He claimed he'd never sit with her, never invite her, never speak to her. But Jaguar had receipts. Emails, dates, names. An invite sent right after the Cassie video dropped, on her birthday. She never replied. Weeks passed. By then,